When it comes to watching new, creative, and unique ideas, my go-to is usually Pixar. And they've created one of my favorite animated films that I still love to this day. Movies like Toy Story, Up, and now my personal favorite, Inside Out. Even though the movie came out during my adult years that are still going on until I'm, dead, Inside Out has become one of my most treasured classics that I still hold dear to this day. With its great storytelling, wonderful characters, and its unique story that I'm very glad that it has the attention that it's got and the box office gold that it's brought in. It definitely deserves all the positive recognition that it's gotten over the years. And I feel like it definitely deserves a sequel that it's gotten. However, when I saw the trailer, I kind of felt disappointed. Well, for one, Riley is still a kid in this one, so we're still trying to focus on her as a kid? Why? I felt like we've done that in the last movie already. We already kind of went through that. Why do we have to see her teenage years? I don't know. I just feel like this is kind of a footnote. In fact, that happens a lot with Pixar sequels nowadays. I mean, not every sequel that Pixar ever puts out is completely a footnote. Like, some of them are pretty reasonable. Like, the two I can think of that are actually reasonable were Toy Story 3 and Finding Dory. Like, for example, with Toy Story 3, it was a continuation that skips 10 years later from Andy being a kid to being an adult, choosing whether or not he should keep his toys during his adulthood or give them away to someone else. Like, the whole point of the movie is that in order to grow up, move on, and find a new piece in your life that helps you grow as a person, allows you to realize that your past will still be there if and when you come back. But you have to move on to a lifestyle that's going to help you grow as a person. That was the point of the third movie. Finding Dory, she was trying to find her family she could barely remember because of her mental disability. Kind of an emotional journey showing how willing you have to be despite all those ailments that you have. Like, it shouldn't hold you back. That's kind of what the point of that movie was. But then you get a sequel like Cars 2, which feels like a footnote to the Cars trilogy, which, to be honest, didn't need to be a trilogy anyway. It easily could have been just one movie. I mean, I'm not sure how much mileage you can get out of making one of those sentient cars you see in those Chevron gas station commercials and then turn that into a movie, but you can try it. It'll be an embarrassing display for Pixar, but you can do it. And you can turn it into a spy movie for all I care. It'll still look like a piece of garbage. So, thanks, John. And then we get to probably the most disappointing sequels to ever exist in the Pixar vault. In my opinion, would have to be The Incredibles 2. That movie really pissed me off, personally, because I really thought that would have been probably one of the best sequels Pixar has ever put out. Probably the best sequel to ever exist in film history. But instead it just became just probably the most boring out of the whole bunch of Pixar films that have come out over the years. Like, for one, and I'm not just saying that because all the characters look the same, but more so the potential of what you could do if you actually do grow them up. Like, for example, you could have easily had Violet, her teenagers going into adulthood, turning from 17 to 18, like graduating high school and stuff like that, going to college, like trying to be independent and getting away from her family. Dash doing his own thing of trying to mature as a person. Jack going to kindergarten or preschool with his superpowers being out of whack, as it usually is. But just seeing him as like 5 years older than just him being a toddler for the billionth frickin' time, that would have been fun. And, the parents just, being nostalgic over their kids being kids and then realizing how much they're growing up and just realizing, I'm proud of my kids. And then, what I'm saying is that there's a lot of things they could have done with it other than just keeping them the same and essentially just writing themselves into a corner, essentially just ripping out Big Hero 6. There's a lot of things you could have done with it, but you just went with the bare frickin' minimum. And that just really pissed me off and really disappointed me. And that's kind of what I thought what Inside Out was going to do. I'm not saying it would be as bad. I mean, clearly it has a decent reception from box office and critics and audiences. So, I mean, it made some people happy. I just think in terms of an Inside Out sequel, it would have been cool just to see Riley as, an adult trying to deal with these emotions in her adult life as opposed to just, in their teenage years, because I feel like high school is probably the least interesting stage in life, which lasts a good 4 years realistically, and I don't feel like there's much mileage to it anymore. Like, I don't know why people keep making high school movies anyway. They're so boring. I feel like adult life is probably harder than high school would be. Like, I don't care what anyone says. Like, adult life is probably going to be harder than high school. I feel like if somebody tells somebody in high school now that adult life is going to be much harder, so you better enjoy high school as much as you can, because you're going to hate yourself when you hit your adulthood. Okay, maybe not to that extreme, but regardless, I just feel like this whole movie is like a footnote. But maybe I'll go see the movie, maybe I won't, I'm not really sure yet. I just don't think I'm gonna buy a movie ticket. Maybe I'll just wait for it to come on Disney Plus, and maybe I'll renew my subscription, but I don't know from this point. I'm just starting to see a pattern with Pixar sequels, and I just think there could be a lot more, that's all.